On today's episode of the Think Bigger Real Estate Podcast, we go deep on the definition of thinking bigger, which is successful businesses and significant lives. And we have with us a guest who has lived his life in this exact way. We're giving you a template that you can follow in your life to, again, have it all. So the big question is this: how do those of us in the real estate industry who have crazy amounts of ambition, how do we think bigger than the building of our own empires? How do we create success and significance, income and impact? My name is Justin Stoddart. This is my co-host, Stephanie Peck. And together, we bring you the Think Bigger Real Estate Podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the Think Bigger Real Estate Podcast. Thrilled to be with, first and foremost, my lovely co-host, Stephanie Peck. Stephanie, are you not excited about today's guest?
Super excited. I was thinking about it all weekend.
You and me both. So this topic, I don't know that there's anybody in the real estate world that is a better example of what we're talking about today. The one and only Mr. Brent Gove. Brent, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Great to be here. Pleasure to be with you, Justin and Stephanie.
Yes, it is our pleasure. This topic is one that is needed, I think, now more than ever. You and I both know, all of us know, that there are countless ways to create a successful business. We see them coming in our inboxes, in our text messages, on social media of do this, do that, do this. And what I feel like, and maybe you guys can even relate to this, is that it feels like people trying to build their house on a sandy foundation. And we all know how that parable ends. Whereas what people need to be doing is building their house on a rock, building it on a solid foundation, significance-minded. Brent, we brought you on the podcast today, not just because you lead an agent organization of over 21,000 agents, but because of a few other, I would say, even more important things than that. And some people are like, wait, more important than that? Yes, more important than that. That Stephanie and I both have had the unique opportunity to see Brent interact with his wife. We've seen him interact with his children. We've seen how he is a man of faith, not just in word, but in deed. His closest friends say that he personifies being a giver. So we have you here today, Brent, because we really want to go deep on this definition of what it looks like to be significance-minded, building a successful business on top of a significant life. Thank you again for joining us today. Stephanie, let's dive in. What fascinates you most about Brent and the way that he's built both what we are offering to agents that partner with us, right? Both success and significance. Tell me, what are you most enamored with what Brent's done?
You know, Brent, I have admired you from the first time that I saw you on stage because you don't make it about you. And that's what I've always loved, is that you have made your story and made your business about how many people you can serve. And tell us more about that, because I always get the feeling that was never your goal, was to put yourself on a pedestal and to say, how can I get my name in lights, but how many people can I serve and serve my family at a really high level and serve the people that I'm responsible for in business. So I want to hear more about your intentions around that.
Sure, you bet. And first of all, so good to be here. Good to see you guys. I mean, I think of naturally kind of a loving person, and my whole life, and I think that served me well, the fact that I want to love other people and help them. And so, it sounds trite and true, but it's true. If you come from contribution, if you really want something for people and not from them, all the rest falls into place. You're a lover and not a fighter, and you help and you give, and life's a better place that way.
Wait, can we just highlight that for just a minute? You want something for people, not from people. Yeah. That's profound. Super profound. Brent, you've obviously be the father of 8, right? Which people say I'm crazy being a father of 6, and you're really crazy being a father of 8. You have this concept of the way that you've set out even your work week back when you were heavy in production, right? Your Fridays, your Saturdays, and your Sundays. Stephanie, in fact, you reminded me of this. Stephanie, why don't you share what, again, being heavy in production, how maybe this has impacted you by kind of sharing what Brent taught you about those 3 days.
Yeah, well, what Brent said was real estate will always expand in the amount of time that we give it. And Brent talked about the parameters that he put around his time. And I remember him saying that, you know, Friday was for golf, Saturday was for family, and Sunday was for God. And you either have that schedule now, or you've told us about some new schedules. But really, I mean, it's one thing to set a schedule, it's another thing to stick to it. But to do it with purpose and with intention. So tell us about that. And how did you make sure that you grind real hard and you do the work that needs to be done during the work time so that you can have that freedom on those other days?
You bet. And by the way, I struggled to do this. So if you think, oh, I just made my schedule and I never made a mistake and I was just so perfect and I don't have any problems. Oh my gosh, we all struggle. I struggle to this day. Right now, I've put on some poundage. I hurt my back and I've been about 4 or 5 months off the exercise thing. I'm back at it. I'm super pumped. But you know, hey, we all got our stuff. But here's the deal: put real estate in a box. So if you, whether it's a rectangular shoebox or a square box, if you don't put it in a box, it's like a little 7-headed snake, and it will consume. If you'll give it 22 hours a day, there is work to be done 22 hours a day. It is endless emails, text message, Instagram posts, you know, addendums, counteroffers, disclosures, prospects to calls, sellers, buyers. So you must put it in a box, and you get to decide what the parameters of that box is. So for me, I was sharing with Justin and Stephanie that every Wednesday night and every Saturday night, my wife and I go out. Now, recently we were in the Ritz-Carlton, Dorado Beach, Puerto Rico, and there's a group of 50 people there. It's called the dinner table. It's all about leaving a legacy with your family, not just an inheritance. I mean, the Bible says a good man leaves, or a woman leaves an inheritance for their children's children. And of course, you know, estate planning and avoid probate and all that stuff. But this group, they own warehouses, they own crypto, they own hedge funds and furniture stores. And they're not just all real estate. 50 super wealthy families. It was all about legacy. Like, what do you want your family to be known for? And they on there, they go, okay, who's been married 5 or more years? Stand up. Everyone stands up. 10, few people sit down. 15, half the room sits down. 20 more. 25, almost every. 30. My wife and I, we were the last man standing. A group of 50. Now, some people married a second time for 20, 25 years. They were older than we were. But, you know, as far as one doing the dance one time, we were that. I was always the youngest guy in the room. And now we're the oldest sage couple in the room, man. And like, how long have you been married? I'm like 34 years. But one of our secrets to success is that it was a non-negotiable during the boom times and the bust times. When I say bust, in 2005, the market corrected in Sacramento, California, Northern California. We closed 55 homes in June of 2005, 55 closings. I made $288,000 net after I paid my splits. And I'm not a broker. I'm just an agent with buyer's agents. They get a split, I get a split. My net was $288,000 for the month. I'm like, man, I got the tiger by the tail. I got the world is my oyster. Life is good. And then wham, July hit. It was like a light switch. And we closed 19, then 17, then 12, then December, our group that was just knocking down 20, 30, 40, 50, go 55. It was like every single month for years and years and years. 9 sales. We were losing $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month. And so that entered a time of real struggle for us. I was 39. I didn't know about how to do the finances, but I'll tell you what we did do. We went out every Wednesday night and every Saturday night, and we you know, go out, and whether you get a yogurt or you go get a salad or you go to Taco Bell or you go to El Fornillo Italian or Ruth Chris, it doesn't matter where you go. What matters is that we spent time together. When we hit a real rough patch in 2010, it really, I think, played a significant role in helping us through that 8 months. I wish I could tell you it was 34 years of wedding bliss. Is perfect. What's the matter with the rest of you who struggle in your marriage? What is your problem? Man, we have fought for our marriage. And everyone's like, how'd you do it? I'm like, we struggled, man. But I could tell you this. We've hit gears I didn't even know were possible in the last 3 years. It is so good. But we go to marriage couple events. We go to relationships events with Tony Robbins. We go to counseling. So enough said, you get the idea. We have put parameters. Like I would never go on a listing appointment. Sorry, babe, can't go to dinner tonight. And then of course you asked, I'll end with this, golf Friday mornings. I would $10 million ranch list. I'm booked. I don't tell them I'm golfing. I say I'm booked. I can't do it then. I do this. It's way more important to me. I need to, if you all work and no play makes Stephanie, Justin, and Brent sad kids. You got to go rock climbing or kite surfing or mountain biking, or in my case, golfing, just to keep your soul every week. Do something that just feeds your soul, keeps you alive. And I did that. And of course, taking the kids out on Friday nights and all day Sunday and Sunday. So we had a box and we put real, but now when it was time to work, I worked like a rabid animal. I was like a caveman, man. It's like totally on fire during that period. And then you got to cut it off and be a dad and be a husband. All right. Enough said there. Go ahead.
Brent, I think many people, because they don't work like rabid dogs during the day, they feel like they've got to keep working, right? So I think you've said something there that really should help everybody that's looking for both success and significance, that if you don't actually get after it during the hours that you've dedicated as the box, then there's going to be this feeling of, I probably should still be working, right? Have you been able to uncover what makes some people actually use that time like a rabid dog and actually wildly productive? Like, what's the difference when you get into someone's brain who's kind of maybe just meandering through the day, and so they feel like they've got to keep working all these hours so that they kind of get rid of that guilt of, I'm not producing the level I want to? Walk us through that. What unlocks for somebody?
I think, and if I got the question right, I'm sorry. I'm at my home in Northern California. My kids came down the stairs and they're all hollering at each other. I'm like, everybody be quiet. I'm on a recorded Zoom. I'm trying to be really professional here. You saw me mute myself. I was like, oh. Anyways, I just wrapped myself out there. But here's the deal. I'm like, shut up. I love you. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't tell them to shut up. I did have to be quiet. So we'll see if they heard me. Okay, so I think early on, I've been in real estate for 27 years. And early on, I learned about the importance of mastering lead generation. I mean, it's number one skill. You don't need to learn about disclosures. You don't need to learn about the contract. You do not need to learn about a CRM. You do not need to learn about negotiating, because you'll have nothing to negotiate if you don't have any clients. So I rest my case, slam dunkajima. You best figure out, if you want to work with buyers, how are you going to get buyers? If you want to become a listing agent, you ever see those listing agents? They have 8 listings. They have 18 listings. You just want to throw up. That used to be me. I'm like, how do they do it? Like, nobody calls me to list their home. I sell homes to buyers every week, sometimes 2 or 3 a week. I'm on fire with buyers. So the greatest invention in the world, buyers. Buyers are not liars. You are not good. But once you get good through failure and struggle, it's so much fun. You can print money with buyers. You're loving them. You're giving them their dream home. They're happy. It's a win-win, not like you're making money. Don't get me wrong, but it is like, you need money. You can go show property today, right? A 10-day close today and be paid $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, 10 days from today. But because you have a master buyer, you're like, oh, a 10-day close, or you have a cash buyer? No, I have a loan. Well, who could do a loan that fast? Many, many lenders. You just got to go find them. And well, my lender only does 20-day closes or 25 or 30. Get a new lender. Anyways, I digress. Anyways, so I may have had 3 cups of coffee this morning getting ready for.
We're loving it, man. We're loving it. Keep it coming. Energy.
Yeah. So anyways, to answer your question, I became passionate about mastering lead generation. I started first with buyers, and I copied a guy in town called John Brooks Realty. You've never heard of him because he never helped he just kind of had his own little thing, and he's gone today. But back then, back in the Stone Ages, like 24 or 5 years ago, he whooped everybody. He beat Remax and Coldwell Banker and the big firm Lions. Keller Williams didn't exist. The big companies were Remax, Coldwell Banker, and Lions. They had 1,200 local agents, big firm. And he just put them down. I go, what does that guy do? And success leaves clues. One day I discovered it was like finding a map to a gold mine, and I copied his open house system. And I went from 40 sales a year to 400, copying this man who none of you have ever heard of, John Brooks Realty. I'm like, And I'm doing a new event right now called Limitless Sales 2024. I saw an event that was done in Salt Lake City called Limitless. And I went, wow, I like that name, but I'm gonna make my own name. I can't copy them. So I went Limitless Sales 2024, and I am doing a bunch of 100, 200 person events. Some of them will have 300 or 400 people. They had 10,000 at theirs. They also had like mega famous speakers. I'm just coming into places and doing stuff, but copy what you see. Find someone who's successful, find out how they did it and copy them. I did not invent open houses, but this man did it different than everybody else. And he was just whooping everybody. So I think I'm going to copy John Brooks Realty. And Jesus changed my life first, but in real estate, John Brooks Realty was kind of like Jesus. It was kind of like being born again. When you go from 40 to 400, something significant has happened. I understand the importance of mastering lead generation. And when you will let go of what's holding you back, which is your narcissistic, I don't want to look stupid. I don't want to call people. What if I say it wrong? Me. I don't want to look stupid. That's narcissism. Just look in the mirror in the mirror and say you love yourself. But when you finally let go and just love people and they feel it, and you can't fake authenticity and it comes through you. I am like this at an open house. All the time. You shop in the MLS. Oh yeah, I got direct feeds. I got Realtor.com. I got Zillow. I got Redfin. I got it all. I go, you got nothing. And I go, like, what? And I'm like, what? They're going to leave anyways. You're not going to be able to reach them. I go, you are shopping leftovers. If you're not telling people at your open houses that you are shopping leftovers in this light inventory market, and they're shopping leftovers. I would call Tom Daves and Paul Boudier and Kevin McDonald and Fred Wilcox. And what do you got? What do you got coming on the market? And we would trade our coming soon listings like baseball cards. And I said, if you work with me, I'm going to find you your dream home. And it's not coming from Zillow, and it's not coming from Redfin or some agent who's got you on MLS drip feed, because you are shopping leftovers. So, and then people respond to that stuff, but I got there through struggle, through grit, through being on my knees at open houses in Antelope, California, begging God to send people because I had groceries to buy and gas to buy for my car and the power bill to pay. I've been there, but I got on my knees. I humbled myself, and God blessed me. And I just love people. And I didn't say the same things everybody else said. And I got completely different results. And I worked Saturday, Sunday, like a month or 2 or 3. And then I had 70 or 80 buyers. And everyone, I'll end with this. Well, how do you work with 70 or 80 buyers? You ready? You don't. The cream rises to the top. You find, there's one of my beautiful daughters right there. The cream rises to the top. And then you find motivated buyers who apologize to you because they have to buy a home this weekend. They absolutely have to buy a $900,000 home this weekend. And we're so sorry. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, I'll let it go this time. You know what I mean? Because some of you have buyers who like, they're never going to buy, but you keep working with them because you don't employ the principle of vacuum, which is get rid of what you don't want to make room for what you do want. And when you have so many buyers and sellers that you pick and choose, now you're cooking with gas. Back to you. I don't know if that was helpful. There you go. That's my daughter going up to finals. She's got finals this week. I didn't really prep them. I was doing this. I'm sorry.
I hope she crushes it. That's what this is all about, buddy. Right? It's not about just having this mirage of a successful business built on sand. This is about a significant life, and this is like living. This is it, right? That's what's most important. I love it.
It's your kids walking through your live Zoom. I love it.
Yeah,
fantastic. Stephanie, I know you have. I know Stephanie well enough to who has one of the more productive relationship-based real estate teams I've ever seen. Stephanie, what questions do you have based on what Brent just taught us about lead generation and about just bringing the energy and loving on people? What stands out to you?
Yeah, the few things that I really resonated with there that stood out was success leaves clues. Like Brent said, success leaves clues. So look for that. Find the people that are doing it, copy it, make it your own. And I mean, let's be fair, Brett, you didn't copy it, you made it better, right? So you take what someone else is doing, you make it better, and you're extremely efficient with it, and you're extremely good at it. And then you're focusing your time on the clients that really matter. So Brent, how did you, when you're in those conversations with people, how did you determine this is the client that is going to get all of my time and attention. And this is the one that is not, because this client is going to steal from Wednesday night. This client's going to steal from Friday morning, and I'm not going to let that happen. How do you make those separations?
Well, two things. Number one, it's impossible for anyone to steal from Friday night or Wednesday night or Friday morning or Saturday night, because those are like non-negotiables. Those are etched in steel and cement and stone. Okay, so that's just a non-issue. That's you not having boundaries. So
Mhm.
A, I'm not saying you, but people listening.
Yeah.
So, and number two, you said something, and obviously you're an expert at this. You're really high level, blah, blah, blah. Here was the key: being horrible at it, being willing to be horrible. I'm going to write it. My next book is going to be called Fail with Velocity. And so, Justin, or I think you said it, I took his model and made it better. What I infused it with was energy. When I found John Brooks Realty, there were two women sitting in a garage in fur coats. I swear, I kid you not. Remember the Roaring 20s when everyone wore big fur coats?
Yeah.
It was cold. It was like January. So I get the fur coat. I swear they were both in fur coats, chain smoking at a card table with the car lot things across. I'm like, what is this? And I go, what brokerage you with? And by the way, when I pulled up, I could see people upstairs, people downstairs, people in the front yard, people in the backyard, probably 50 cars out front of this nice suburban neighborhood, nothing too special. I'm like, I'd never seen anything like this. And I go, who are you guys? We're Emma and I'm Betty. I'm like, no. What brokerage? There were no signs, nothing. There were signs, but nothing said the brokerage. So I go, oh, we're John Brooks Realty. And I just went, this is it. I found the gold mine. Oh my God, they beat. I mean, I've seen the proof is in the results. They beat everybody, all the players in town. I'm like, oh, I found it. I have found the El Dorado, man. And so what happened was they would put out like 30, 40 signs to their open houses, and they were 5 feet tall, 4 feet wide. And they said free list of area homes. Everyone else put Coldwell Banker, Remax, KW, Sotheby's. Who cares? Do you really go to the open house at Lake Tahoe or Monterey or Napa because it has a Sotheby's sign on it? I don't care if it says Platinum Realtors of Napa. You're going in because, oh, cute house, open house, let's go in. Lake Tahoe, Mountain Home Realty. I don't really care whether it says Berkshire Hathaway or Mountain Home Realty or EXP. The bottom line is I'm going in, so take your dumb name off the sign. And if it's a rust belt violation in your state, put it on there about this big in fine print. It's not about EXP. It's not about Compass. It's not about, oh, branding's important. Good. You brand, I'll get 100 people at my open house. And I'm going to swing the bat, swing the bat, swing the bat. And then I infused it with energy, because Tony Robbins says energy is the key to life, relationships. My wife, I don't just show up, hey, babe, how you doing? I go, baby, how are you? I mean, we're ridiculous. We're hugging and kissing and holding hands all the time. I bring energy. Now I'm maybe over exaggerating a few things right now, but not that much. And I bring energy to my open houses. They don't forget me. And I'm hungry. Hunger is your greatest asset. I had one couple, they called me, hey, we want to make an offer. I'm like, awesome. We're out here in Folsom. We felt like, when can we make a full price offer? I'm like, yeah. What do we mean? I go, I'm embarrassed to say this. I don't recognize your voice and I don't have your number saved. Oh, we're Ted and Betty. I go, please forgive me, but have we met? She goes, oh, I'm sorry. Ted and I met you a year ago at an open house, and we kept your card because you were totally different from everyone else we met. And we go, when we buy a house, we're buying through that guy. And they've been looking at open houses for a year. For whatever reason, I didn't connect with them, but they never forgot me. Because I'm different, and you could be different too. If you show up and you just love people and you come from authenticity, game over. And then you put the work in. Massive action creates results. It is not magic. It is motion. Get your butt out the door and do something. That's why Tony Robbins says, if you're in your head, you're dead. Well, I can't do open house. They don't allow that where I live. Find a way to get it done. And if you literally can't do open houses, then go door knock. Well, they don't allow that either. What do they allow? Well, they allow this. Then go do that and master it. And you will not be starving and you will be successful. But then you got to put it in the box. Put it in the box so you work 24/7. You'll end up being super successful and divorced. And that's not good. Or depressed because you got divorced. Or you're just a mess. And so you got to put it in the box.
One of my favorite leadership principles, Brent, is that people don't care so much about what you do or what you say. They care about how you feel about them, and people know how you feel about them, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's very evident in the way that you go about building your business, about, leading your 21,000 agent organization, is that people know that you care about them and that you want something for them. And you bring not just that feeling, but that energy of, hey, this, like, it's yours to grab. There's no other country on the planet that has the opportunities that this one does. And there's no other industry that has the opportunities like this one does. You put those together, like, what is there not to be excited about? And I think we feel that coming from you. And I think, buyers and sellers in a market where, there's a little trepidation on their side, right? Maybe not enough inventory, rates are a little higher than they like. People are addicted to hope. They're addicted to people that can give them hope, right? We are hope dealers. And when we have that kind of energy and that kind of authenticity and love towards them, people are attracted to that. And you don't have to do all of the stuff that maybe others have to do, because once people get around you, they're like, how do I get around that guy or that gal more often? Right? I see that both in you and Stephanie's businesses. And it's super fun to feel that through this call, that even though we're in 3 separate parts of the world, we can feel your energy coming through and your genuine love for humanity. And the fact that you get to deliver that to them through leadership and through, real estate sales, all those things should be such a privilege and such a blessing for us, that we just want to get up every day and go offer that to people. So thank you for sharing that with us. It's fantastic.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Stephanie, what other questions do you have? Being truly the practitioner, building a great real estate business, one who, again, is not just success oriented, right? But one who really is significance oriented, that really wants to, as Brent said, have an incredible business and an incredible marriage and family at the same time, not one or the other. Like, so, all too often we see. What curiosities do you have about how to do that?
Well, that's what I'm hearing that is so exciting, is that Brent is approaching every relationship with, what does this person want? How can I get this person what they want? What's most important to them? So whether it was your open house, they don't want your brand. They want the information that they can only get from you. Right. And the same thing with your family. I mean, your wife doesn't want all of the things that you can buy her. She wants you. She wants your love and attention, and your kids, they want your love and attention. Another thing that I like that you do, and I mean, the same thing with your EXP business, is that I believe that you really approach everyone with, how can I get you what you want out of this business? You're not treating people like they're a tool to get you what you want. You're coming to them and saying, what's important to you and how can I get you there? And in the process, we all win. I mean, what a beautiful brokerage model that you have created for so many, an opportunity for so many at EXP, but also the giving that you do outside of business. And tell us a little bit about Sell a Home, Save a Child.
Absolutely. Let's do Forward Edge. It's a ministry. It's been around for 40 years. By the way, you said, oh, Brent, we can feel your love. We feel this. Man, that's just Jesus in me. I just want to say that as a Christian, I love the Lord. I'm a Christian, proud of it. And so anything good you see through me is the Lord loving you through me. It's him, and he loves you. And that's a whole nother discussion. If you want to talk about that, get a hold of me. I'll be happy to talk to you about my faith, because that's really the most, talk about the long game. This life, this 80, 90, 100 years, some of you are going to live to be 140 with the advances of medicine. It's compared to eternity. So don't do all this financial planning just for that. What you want to do is think more about the long-term eternity part of this, you guys. So really embrace your faith. Talk to Justin, talk to Stephanie, talk to me, talk to somebody who knows, kind of got that together, because the rest is shallow and hollow. But Forward Edge is a Christian ministry started by Joseph Amfuso 40 years ago. He goes all over the world. Every year they serve about 30,000 men, women, and children at risk. They literally rescue children off the largest trash dump in the world, which is in Nicaragua. And if you're wondering how big this trash dump is, it's 50 square mile dump, like 50 miles of dumping in all directions. That is a big dump. Take your city. I don't care if it's New York or Dallas. It's like making Dallas a dump, the entire city of Dallas, or Denver. Denver's not 50 square miles across. It is amazing. And people are so desperate in Nicaragua, they literally will go there, drop off their 3-year-old, their 5-year-old, 8-year-old, and just drive away. And it's unbelievable. And there's kids scampering over that thing. So Joseph said there, I said, I've got to do something. So he started the Esperanza House, which means hope in Spanish, Esperanza. And he's been rescuing kids off this thing and then giving them medical attention and clothing and cleaning them up and putting them in school and teaching them trades. And they've gone on. It's been going on for 40 years. These kids are now doctors and lawyers and teachers, and they were discarded like refuge. Like you go to the dump with old mattresses and old broken TVs and whatever you could throw in the back of a friend's truck. We've all done it. And you go dump it. These were children. And so I think Forward Edge is awesome. And then specifically, they have a ministry called Sell a Home, Save a Child, designed for real estate agents. And so, you could donate $100 every time you sell a home, 200, 500, so we've raised between 2 to 3 million, I think 2.5 million last I heard for them. And my wife and I, we lead the chart, we give big too. And so here's the deal. It's just a great cause. And I'll give it back to you, but you can Google it, Forward Edge International, but put my name behind them. They're great. 40 years, no embezzlement, no crazy stuff. But I'll say this, I forgot what I was going to say. So I'll just give it back to you.
Something that stands out. I'm so glad that you brought that up, Stephanie. I was having this thought over the weekend. The markets obviously isn't maybe what some people would want. I think it's better than in Nicaragua. I think we could all agree with that, and especially for those kids in that environment. But I think sometimes when maybe circumstances aren't quite what we want, it's almost like Peter taking the step out of the boat and he starts to look down at the water. And guess what? That just assures that you start to sink. Yeah. And I think, your point, Brent, of keeping your eyes on for those who are faith oriented, like the three of us are at a very deep level, keep your eyes on him, and you can actually do some incredible things because maybe you can walk on water, right? That might mean crossing, crossing the water. It's not because of you, as Brent described. So I would just encourage you to stop looking down at how far I might fall, and instead start getting your eye fixed on something that's much bigger than you, something that's even eternal. And I think you'll be amazed at what you can actually accomplish when you start realizing what can be done and the lives that you can impact. I think the greatest thing that good people can do is forget who they are. They can forget who they are. And as a result, so many other lives aren't impacted. Like, for example, Brent, had you forgotten who you were back when times were really tight, and you let that encompass you, you would not have risen to become the leader that you are today. And how many kids would still be living in a garbage dump had you not done that? And so my invitation to everybody listening here today is that there is a very bright future, not just comfort and a good life for you, but literally people in horrible circumstances that are counting on you to be your biggest self, to think a little bit bigger. Stop focusing on you falling and start focusing on where you could be going and who needs you. And you'll actually go on to accomplish that, right? People need us to think bigger. Stephanie, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, what a motivator to get up every day. What a motivator to do that lead gen. And if I'm thinking about my big why, we always talk about what's your why, and not who, but what. And if I say who can I impact? And for a lot of us, we might be saying, okay, well, I'm gonna sell this house so I can put more money in retirement, or so that my spoiled kids can just get a little bit more. Or people can tell themselves a story about entitlement. And if I were to have that image in my mind every day, like, this is who I get to impact, I'm going to be motivated, like crazy motivated, to do the lead gen. Or even if it's just, I'm looking forward to Wednesday night because that's date night and that's a non-negotiable, I'm going to be crazy motivated. Even if that is just Taco Bell or a frozen yogurt or a dollar movie night with the kids, whatever that looks like, it doesn't have to be fancy and elaborate, but there's something to look forward to, and there's someone that you can impact every day. And when you pick up that phone and you don't want to make that call because someone's going to be nasty to me, or this isn't working, or this is boring, whatever it is that's going to keep you from doing it, what if you said, by me picking up this phone and making this lead gen call is going to impact this life, I'm going to pick up that phone, man.
Yeah.
I love it. What's the saying? All it takes for evil to prevail in this world is for good men and good women to do nothing. So my heroes are Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King, Oscar Schindler, William Wilberforce, who brought an end to slavery in Europe. You know, Oscar Schindler saved 1,200 Jews during World War II, gave up his entire fortune. He was in it for the money. At the end, he just bawled like a baby. He had a pen he could have sold it. He goes, how many more lives could I have saved? And so there's value in human souls of all faiths, of all races. And so you either a lover or not, don't listen to the things that tries to tell you otherwise. You are a giving, loving person. You're not a stump. You're capable of change. The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. It's not a trite saying. It's true. You can become a better friend, a better mom, a better dad, but self-loathing never served the world. So quit hating on yourself. There's no one better than beating you down than yourself. And be graceful with yourself. You're going to make it. In fact, if you're not making mistakes, you're sitting on the couch and you're a couch potato. Congratulations. But if you get out there doing something, you're going to pull a muscle, work it out. You're going to say something stupid in an open house. You're going to do a Zoom and go, what did I say that? And you know what? That's life. Laugh at yourself. Love people. Live with zest. And it's all going to work out if you come from love and contribution and adding value. You'll get better and better. I did not pop out of the box this way. I got into sales at 19. I was a dishwasher and I used to shake so bad. People put their hand on my shoulder. Hey, take a breath. It's okay. They saw me facing my fear and they had empathy for me. Those are at least the ones I remember. And they go ahead, just take a breath. I'm going to listen to you. Go ahead. So it wasn't always easy for me, but it became easier because I've done it a lot. And now I'm quote unquote, whatever people want to say about me, that I'm good at whatever. And not everybody loves me, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I love people, and I leave it at that. So this has been fun today. Anything you guys want to say as we wrap this up?
And I think for everybody listening here today, this is your invitation to think bigger, right? And the think bigger isn't just putting more dots on the map of, real estate agents that you have. It's really much deeper and much bigger than that. If you want success, yes, that can be yours. But our invitation for you is to put it on a foundation of significance. Be around people who believe in you, who love you, who want to actually help you have all the things of life, right? Including great marriages, great relationships with family, great relationships with God. Like, these are the things that will actually create true and genuine happiness, that then your business will fund the ability for you to take that light and share it with countless other people. So that's what we're about. Brent, it has been such a absolute privilege and pleasure to spend this time with you. Thank you for your contribution to the industry, to the world, and to us and our audience here today.
Thank you. I forgot. Can I just say one quick thing? Is it okay?
Of course.
I forgot to say this. So when you do your calendar, whatever your priorities are, mine is God first, then my family, which starts with my wife. I did not marry my children. I married my wife, and then the kids. So I put in God, Bible studies, men's groups, couples retreats. I'm busy. I can't go. Are you kidding? What's happening this year? I put the couple retreat in first. I put the men's camp in first. I put the men's Bible study in first. I put going to church Sunday morning, and those are like non-negotiables. So like, all you do is go to church. Are you kidding? Men's camp is once a year. Couples retreat is once a year. Bible studies Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. or Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. or you get 24 hours a day. Don't tell me you're making up stories. But so God, family, and then I put, fitness, and then finances, and then fun. So, and finances is the business part. It's like the fourth thing in my calendar. And then what's left over, that's what I feed to real estate. Instead of putting finances and business at the top and then feeding my faith and my family and everything else, what's left over. And so never trust anyone who doesn't walk with a limp. And I'm struggling right now in my fitness. I'm heavier than I want to be, but I'm doing something about it. Pumped, and I know it's going to come off because I'm doing the absolute right things with exercise and diet to change that. So you guys have an awesome day. Stephanie, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Justin, thank you. Everyone out there listening in La La Land, wherever you are, we love you. We want to make a difference. We cannot, Stephanie, I guarantee Stephanie, Justin, myself, we cannot wait to see you at the next event, whatever that is. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you very much.
Thanks so much for being here.
Before you go, we've got one more invitation for you. We all know that listening to a podcast is not enough to help you to become a big thinker and high achiever. We must take action. So the very first step, think about one lesson learned from this podcast that you'd like to apply, and send it to us in the form of a direct message at Think Bigger Real Estate. We look forward to hearing from you and helping you to go think bigger.